Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This is Neelam Pathak here, and I'm from Social Pay Consulting. Today, we have a very exciting expert talk series lined up with our very extreme and expert guest, Mr. ChandraSekar Pandyan. Welcome, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Hello,
Before
Neelam.
we hello, before we go on our discussion, I would like to introduce Mr. Chandrasekhar. So, Mr. Chandrasekhar Pandyan is a Harvard Advisory Council member, as well as the management consultant, a design thinker, a storyteller, and knowledge management innovative business transformation who has served MNCs across the geographies. He is a certified knowledge management consultant from the International Knowledge Management Institute, IKMI USA, and one of the top 50 impactful knowledge management professional chosen by the World Education and Global KM Congress. He has also been recognized as top 20 coaches from the World Accreditation Coach Foundation. Being an extraordinary coach from Zenger Folkman, USA, with 35 years of industry experience, he helps organization in strategy execution of transformation programs and projects as a change agent and help them achieve a healthier balanced scorecard across the enterprise strategic and business units. As a Ken Blanchard USA situational leadership professional, he contributes to connect the data for the enterprise innovation, results, outcome, and outputs, improving organization-wide efficiency and effectiveness. I believe whatever, however, how much I introduced Mr. Chandrasekhar Pandyan, it will be less enough. And this is what he comes with, the kind of experiences that he comes in, and also to the advisories. Now I would like to start our expert talk series of social pay, and today our topic is design thinking for the business digital transformation. So before I go to our talk, Mr. Chandrasekhar, I have, I just wanted to put it up that, people are being talking about design thinking, organization has been talking about this, and the implementation of it. Now, the focus on our talk today is help the people understand what is it about and how we can implement this at a part of for our businesses. Now, in this only, I have a very first question to ask you, but I would also like to tell our viewers and people who are watching us, if they have any question, they can put it in the chat, and we will be taking these questions during the discussions we have. So my question here, Mr. Chandrasekhar, is how do you describe the concept of blended right and left brain thinking, and how does it, contribute to the problem solving in the design process? If your expert views, Mr. Chandrasekhar.
Thanks, Neelam. Design thinking is to design our thinking that can blend the creative right brain and the critical left brain. The creative right brain is important for us to visualize the future, our vision, our next steps in order to improve innovation, transformation, and disruption of our organizational products and services for our customers, and to have a blueprint of strategy in place that is taken care by the right brain, creative brain. The left brain has to take over after we have a strategy blueprint to plan, do, check, and act for results orientation and execution. So, creative thinking is important for vision, mission, expectations, goals, and objectives. And critical thinking is important for plan, do, check, act, and implement and execute with excellence. So, when we design our thinking by using our whole brain, we need to appreciate visualization and persona mapping and customer journey mapping and mind mapping and understanding the value proposition of what we want to offer to the clients and customers and consumers. Those things come predominantly from our vision, from our right creative brain. If we don't blend it with the left logical brain, what may happen is we have a grand vision, but the execution becomes a failure. So, design thinking enables us to design the thinking starting with the right brain approach and then moving on to the left brain approach where we are focusing on results. So, designing our thinking creatively for visioning and critically for execution and getting to the results, benefits, return on investment is what I'm trying to talk about as a blended brain approach. Now, why is it important to have a blended brain approach? Imagine an organization is there that looks for transformation. It could be digital transformation, it could be organization wide change management effort, it could be cultural transformation, it could be technology transformation, it could be process reengineering. Transformations that happens across the enterprise, it has to have both the parts. Someone in the leadership who understands what is going to be the future, who visualizes what is going to be the end state which we are going to be in, and they have to cascade those things across the hierarchy of the organization. And when it is cascaded to the lower management, supervisory and management, and first level supervisory and subject matter experts for execution, there is a blend in the organization. So, any transformation effort, unless there is a visionary, unless there are experimenters, explorers, and modifiers, because a transformation requires visionaries, experimenters, explorers, and modifiers. A combination of all these things is enabled by the blended brain approach, and design thinking promotes working with a blended brain. So, for any strategic interventions, any objectives and key results that are strategic, enterprise level, program level, portfolio level, and across the project management office level, it is important for us to design our thinking that blends the right creative brain with the left logical brain. People ask me sometimes, how do I understand what is my dominance? How do I understand whether I'm a creative brainer or a critical brainer? Critical brainers will ask questions like what, when, where, who, why, how. They can ask questions that are enabling people to get the right data, from data to information, from information to knowledge, from knowledge to analytical research, and then to business intelligence. So they enable that. But when it comes to creative thinkers, they try to portray a future and they try to make imagination and inspiration comes to different parts of the leadership, because they have to think about the business perspective, they have to think about the people perspective, they have to think about the process, they have to think about technology, they have to think about customer innovation and products and services, everything. So it is not ideally possible for every individual to be able to blend the brain and work on all the sites at any given point in time. Sometimes we have to work with complementary members who have different brain dominance. For example, I may be a creative brainer, Neelam. You might be a logical brainer. If we work as a team, then we are complementing each other. You take care of execution, I take care of vision. If that is to be found, it's a very simple exercise. Now, if we join our hands together, left and right hands together, and if we do that faster, and then if we hold it with the grip, and if we see the thumb, which thumb is facing you? Just look at it after joining your hands together with a good grip and look at which thumb. Is it the left thumb that is facing you outside, or is it the right thumb that is facing you outside? Now, this exercise is the simplest form of enabling you to understand. If you have the left thumb facing you, you're a right brainer. If you have the right thumb facing you, you're a left brainer. And the left side of the body is controlled by the right brain. So left thumb, if it is outside, right brain is controlling it. And if you have the right thumb outside, the left brain is controlled. Now, what is the effect of this understanding of, yes, I'm a right brainer or I'm a left brainer? Hold it on. I'm not trying to say that you're going to trumpet it to the organization that, for example, when I do this, I get my left thumb outside. When I get the left thumb outside, I know that I'm in the right road. I'm into innovation, I'm into transformation, I'm into disruption, I'm into helping organizations transform, do change. So I'm a design business evangelist and innovation evangelist. Probably I'm in the right road. But imagine, I should also understand where could be my gap. Because I'm a creative person, I may lack somewhere when it comes to logic, when it comes to planning, when it comes to doing, when it comes to verifying, validating, auditing, checking, and logically executing the steps towards getting into our final result. Now, what do I do? Knowing that I have to fill in this gap, I will have the right templates, I will have the right processes in place, I will have the right canvas that helps me, I will have the right people that supports me, and then I'll be able to go back out there to get my creativity with the right vision implemented with their logic with the right implement. So blended brain thinking is promoted by design thinking to have a holistic approach for creative thinking for vision to be converted into critical thinking for results. So that's the answer, Neela.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekar. And, especially one point that I liked it, how can you find it out that whether you are a right brainer or a left brainer? Secondly, I believe for a strategic intervention, it's always important to have the creativity and the objectivity part of it. And it's very, very important into that perspective. Now, my second question comes on this, the similar line that if I have to define in the context of design thinking, how, what does this design, DESIGN, stand for, and how does it inform the approach to the problem solving and innovation?
Okay. So if we think like a designer, if we design our thinking, I said that we have to blend the brain. And if we are blending the brain, what are all the things that we accomplish by blending the right brain for creativity and the left brain for logical execution? If that is there in the background of our mind, DESIGN. D stands for discover. E stands for evolve. S stands for strategize. I stands for innovate. G stands for grow. And N stands for nurture. So discover, evolve, strategize, innovate, grow, and nurture. And this is a sequence from me. It is not from any other models of the world and frameworks of the world. It's from ChandraSekar Pandyan. D stands for discovery. So discover your pain points, discover your needs, discover your priorities, discover your business requirements, discover your vision, discover your expectations, goals, and objectives. So unless we know what is that we are heading to, we will not be able to move forward. So discovery of the pain points and gain points, the present state and the future state, and the expectations and goals and objectives and the problems and challenges and the vision at large is discovered. Discover that. Once we discover that, understand that in a negative tone, it is a problem that we have. In a positive tone, we have a vision, because design thinking is not necessarily to be used only when we have a problem, but it is always referred to as a creative problem solving technique for a human centered design. But not always that it needs to be a problem solving tool, but it can also be a framework that can approach a grand vision to be achieved. So, if we have discovered everything in vision or problem, we have to evolve. Because what happens is, imagine if I go to an organization, I meet all the persons who report into the CEO. Let us say 8 people are there who are reporting into the CEO: a chief technology officer, a chief marketing officer, a chief quality officer, a chief IT officer, chief HR officer, and so on. I can bet that that if I ask them what are the top three things that you want to achieve to transform your organization, if I ask the same question to all the 8 people, I bet I'll get different answers. HR, HR officer will say that I want to visit the best in class institutes. I want to get the best in class candidates. I want to ramp them. I want to make them become contributing to our organizational vision. I want to make them learn and develop and then become the best in class employees who can engage, who can provide products and services. That's what probably the HR person will say. If you go to an IT person and ask the same thing, three things that you have to transform, they will probably say that, I want to digitally transform. I want to get into artificial intelligence. I want to embrace technologies for helping all my business units. Go to a chief marketing officer, he or she might say that I want to expand my territories and geography. I want to get into more numbers happening in terms of my revenues, my profitability, and I want to go to the masses. I want to use digital marketing. I want to go to places. I want to expand. I want to work with partners. I want to work with channels. I want to work with different agencies that can help me to achieve numbers. Now, hold on. Same question asked to 8 different people gets different answers, and then we are into a mess here. When I say we are into a mess, we need to think about who's right and who's wrong, and what is right and what is wrong. Evolving the discover is one thing which we talked about. When we discover, we have to evolve the priorities because all of them are saying many of the things that is important. Can we take the top most pain point and the requirement of everyone, club it together? Will it become a good insight and then reframing of what we need to prioritize? That is evolving the priorities. So it goes with the Pareto principle. If there are 100 requirements that is in hand, can we identify those 20 requirements that can get me 80% of the results? And can we defer for future the other 80 requirements and not to take everything in one shot? So evolving the priorities, that's E. E for evolving, D for discover, E for evolve. Evolving the business priorities and the customer requirements for our products and services is the second part. Third is strategy. Let us not jump into strategy, my dear friends. That's what I always say. Usually organizations, the leadership wants to start moving for a strategy blueprint exercise. But they may not have done this due diligence of discovery and evolving priorities, but they go for the strategy blueprint first. In fact, I've seen many organizations doing a SWOT analysis, which just simply goes for 4 quadrants S, W, O, T. That's all. Strengths are listed, weaknesses are listed, opportunities are listed, and threats are listed. That's all. I see many organizations say that they have done a SWOT analysis. But very few go beyond that because strengths and weaknesses are internal facing. Opportunities and threats are external facing. So we'll put a 2x2 matrix, SW on one side and OT on the other side. Can we have strengths and opportunities if we are having? What are the SO strategies? If we have the strengths and threats, what are the ST strategies? We have strengths inside, we have threats outside. How do we move forward? We have weaknesses and opportunities. What do we do? What are the strategies? And the worst part to be is we have weaknesses inside, we have threats outside. How do we strategize? Getting into this level of clarity of SO, ST, and WO, WT strategies, and trying to think about a root cause analysis of what went wrong, where we went wrong, what can we do different, what, when, where, who, why, how analysis, Pareto analysis, and analysis of fishbone. All these things now is done based on evolution of priorities. We discover, we evolve, we strategize. Once we strategize, now we have the execution that needs to start for innovation. Because innovation is the outcome, innovation is the output, innovation is the customer related product or process or service. But if we do not have the right priorities, we cannot strategize, is my point. Discover, evolve, and strategize. So we have got a strategy now. Now strategy execution is key. We have got creative ideas probably, because people think creativity is innovation. That's wrong. Applied creativity that can get business benefits, that reflects in the revenues and profitability by the products or services that is appreciated by the clients and customers overall. That's what is innovation. Applied creativity that gets business benefits, that reflects in the products and services as innovation, that reflects in the balance scorecard, that reflects in the financial scorecard as revenues and profitability. So innovation happens as execution. We want to think about multiple minimum viable products and services and processes and go for an agile method for innovating. So multiple innovations across the enterprise, it gets us into a transformation. And multiple transformations across the enterprise companies, the whole enterprise becomes disruptive and ready for market acquisition. So now discover, evolve, strategize, innovate, we have covered. After innovation is done, hold on for a moment. Are we going to be stopping it? Are we going to be asking all the R&D guys to move out and then have an enjoyed vacation forever? No. We have to make them think about, after having released a product or service to the market, we have to think and consider as if it is our competition's product and service, and then we have to think, what next? If we don't think what next, if we don't think what next for our own products and services, we become someone who are okay for sustainability, doing same as sustainability. How long you will be with that? It becomes shame, puppy shame after some time. So doing sustainability needs to be stopped, and then you have to do more with same, and that is business process re-engineering, business performance management, and doing more with less. That is innovation, transformation, disruption. Now, what am I saying? We discovered, we evolved priorities, and we strategized the blueprint, and we innovated products and services. We will not stop there. We will grow that innovation to the next level iteratively. And when we grow the next levels inside out with our research and development, we should also nurture the product by listening, empathizing, analyzing, probing. It's called a leap forward technique. Listening, empathizing, analyzing, and probing from the market, from the customers, from the stakeholders. Is there anything that we should do different? Is there anything that you thought we would release but we have not released in our product or service? What's your feedback? So get the feedback, incorporate the feedback, nurture your product. So now design is discover your needs and pain points and vision and expectations and goals and objectives. Evolve your business priorities and try to take the maximum output or outcome that it can give. So choose that and then get into having a strategy blueprint. Once you have the blueprint, get into customer product, service or process innovation. Once you launch an innovation, iteratively improve it by your inside out research, grow that, and nurture it with customers and clients and stakeholders feedback. So design is discover, evolve, strategize, innovate, grow, and nurture. It's absolutely a logical sequence, which is very creatively put in there. And this itself, I claim that I've used my left and right brain together, because it's a blended brain approach and it's a sequence. You can see that it looks like creativity, that I have expanded DESIGN for the first time in the world. And but it is also having a logical progression. It's one after the other. You cannot evolve the priorities without knowing what are the different needs. You cannot strategize if you do not have priorities. You cannot innovate if you have not strategized. You cannot grow if you have not gotten a product already. You cannot nurture if you have not gotten inside out research is over, right? So discover, evolve, strategize, innovate, grow, and nurture. That's design. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. In fact, now today I learned this concept, and it was very important when you were explaining me that why it is important to even look this into the same sequence. So I even now, after learning from you, it's like why D is important for discovering your needs and priorities. E is evolving your priorities, and S is strategizing your blueprint, while I is innovation portion, and G is grow. your innovation, grow your this thing, and N is about the nurturing your products and services. Very beautifully explained. I believe with this, it actually gives that framework of understanding that. And with this, our new question is more about, could you give us a brief overview of the Stanford framework of the design thinking and explain why it's important or why is it significant in fostering the innovation and addressing the complex challenges, and how organizations can implement it?
So the foundational framework across the world that is available for all of us to fall back to when we think about design thinking to be practically applied in our projects. I usually say that design thinking is not a project. Design thinking can be applied in every project. So to apply design thinking in any of your project, in any of your industry or domain or vertical or function across different organizations, different uh, verticals, and it can be for any industry, it can be for any corporate, any company, any enterprise, including universities, colleges, and different streams of people. And India becomes the first country to introduce design thinking from 6th standard onwards to 12th standard in CBSE schools. So the foundation framework comes from Stanford. I call it fondly and refer to it as EDIPT. So it is like we are offering an online live session today. It is as if it were to be offering all my participants who are there an EDIPT. EDIPT. So you can remember Stanford framework by remembering EDIPT. E stands for empathize. D stands for define. I stands for ideate. P stands for prototyping. And T stands for testing. So what is empathizing? Why is it significant in design thinking? Imagine if we are human-centric designers and if we are designing our products and services and processes and solutions for people to use. If we don't empathize with them, if we don't visualize what is their real pain point, if we don't understand their real pain points by mapping their persona, asking relevant questions for them to come out with the pain points, and who are we doing something for? If we are not very clear about who are we going to serve with our products and services, we might think whatever we do is the right offering for the stakeholders or customers. But if we don't get to the real potential consumers or customers for whom we are developing the products and services, then we are not empathizing right. And that is the starting point of design thinking. And Stanford refers to it as the design thinking spaces. The spaces of design thinking, the stages of design thinking, the process steps of design thinking. The first one is empathize. Empathizing is to visualize and tell stories and seek for stories from the customers, clients, and consumers to understand their present and future state, to understand their stated and unstated needs. Sometimes, they don't state it apparent. Many times, business development people, I have heard them saying that customers are not actually coming forth to tell clearly what they want. I would say that the business development people are not empathizing with them right. You need to ask the right questions. You need to listen. You need to empathize. You need to analyze. You need to probe. You need to have the right questioning. If you just simply ask, what is it you need? They may even shot back saying that you're the expert, you should tell us. Then it'll be a very short interaction. There'll be no conversation. So empathizing is to visualize the present and future state by storytelling, and trying to do persona mapping by understanding different things like what people think and feel, what people say and do, what people see and hear. Believe me or not, Neelam, this is not going to be easy, and it is not going to be similar. All these things, if it is similar, then you've got a great deal of empathizing done. What people think and feel. Thinking is from the logical brain, feeling is from the creative brain. They may feel different, they may think different. What people say could be different, what people do could be different totally. What people see may be different, what people hear may be different. If all these things can be understood and aggregated and synthesized, then we can claim that we have done an empathy map. An empathy map is a consolidation of what people see and hear, what people say and do, what people think and feel, and to conclude what are the pain points, what are the gain points, what is the visualization of the current and future state, and what kind of past state that made them to be in the present state, what went wrong, what went right in the past state. If we can empathize with the stakeholders and gain stated and unstated needs, that is the importance of empathy. Moving on to define. Defining is to define value proposition. For example, if you and me are working for a client to offer a digital transformation consulting or a coaching or a design thinking based innovation for them, what's in it for me is the question that they will ask. What is the outcome? What is the return on investment? If I invest X, will I get 5X? What is that you're going to get as an outcome? People are not asking about the output only. They're asking about outputs and outcomes and results and return on investment. Now, if the return on investment is important for transformation and disruption projects, if we are not very clear about the value chain analysis and the value proposition, that we need to do a value stream mapping for our entire offering. It cannot be simply one size fits all. I may be a design thinking facilitator, but when I facilitate for an IT organization, it is different. When I facilitate for a manufacturing organization, it is different. When I facilitate for a FMCG organization, it is different. When I facilitate it for a consulting company, it is different. But the foundational framework is the same. So, how do we define the value chain analysis, value proposition for the business, and value stream mapping for our offering? And how do we mind map it? Because a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. If we can put a mind map for any client or customer or consumer or stakeholder that cuts across what is your business benefit from this, what is your customer product service benefit from this, how your people will benefit from this, how your employees will benefit from this, how your processes and quality will benefit from this, how your tools and technology and IT will benefit from this. If I holistically map it and tell them proactively, this will be your business benefits, this will be your customer product and service benefits, and by making people and process and technology connecting the dots, we are making that happen. Now, defining is to define this mind map with a value proposition. If we do not have the value proposition, whatever the mind map is, it's not going to yield benefits, right? Why is it for me? What's in it for me is what people will ask. If you do not have the answer for the question, what's in it for me, then we have not defined the value chain analysis and value proposition and mind map that gets the clarity for any customer. How will my business benefit? How will my customer benefit? How will my employees and processes and quality and IT benefit from this transformation? If that's not very clear, then we have not defined well. So empathizing and defining. Ideation is the next step. After having defined the mind map, you pick and choose and then divide and contour by offering it to different teams of your organization to become accountable and responsible for ideating the best solutions. Now, ideation starts with getting bold ideas, creative ideas, out of the box thinking ideas, crazy ideas, and people who think different comes with those ideas. But 50% of the ideation, the third step or third phase of the Stanford, 50% of that is quantum of ideas, collecting and aggregating multitude of ideas from different people across cross-functional teams. But after having gotten those multiple ideas, the second part of the ideation in Stanford is, are we able to find out the innovation sweet spot intersecting the consumer, customer, stakeholder desirability with the delivery R&D team's feasibility of the organization, with the business viability for financially getting benefits out of doing this. Imagine if you have got an idea, but your organization is not going to benefit from that, then people may not be liking it. Imagine if you have got an idea, but the customers are not liking it, that product is not going to be important then. Do you know that Xerox patented the first microprocessor? Many of us may not know. Xerox is not an organization that is into microprocessor chips. But when they were very much into incubating ideas, people right, left, and center gotten into patenting many things. Some of the patents have not been useful for the immediate business challenges of the organization. So the ideation has to be in line with the desirability and feasibility and viability. So empathizing and defining and ideating. So if we have the right solutions, it is desirable, it is feasible, it is viable. Then we get into prototyping. So prototyping and testing are the last two stages and phases. Prototyping is to prove every good solution or idea will work. And testing is to prove every prototype can fail. Very nice statement. Prototyping is to prove every idea or solution will work. And testing is to prove every prototype will fail. So you have a different mindset people required for testing and prototyping. Prototyping is passionate experimenters and evolution people. Experimenters and evolution oriented people and personality thinking out of the box. They will try to prototype and bring devil's advocates and logical people to ask questions and verify and validate, check and inspect, and then prove something can go wrong. Those people will be good for testing. So prototyping is to think about, how do I do an assumption analysis? Because ideas and solutions comes with a lot of assumptions. Business assumptions will be there, technology assumptions will be there, budget assumptions will be there, resources assumptions will be there, tools and technology licensing assumptions will be there, infrastructure assumptions will be there, and customer liking assumptions will be there, which may not have been validated. So we have assumptions, we have constraints, we have limitations, we have risks, and are we able to identify what are those? What are the potential point of failures for my solutions? If I can address that and then move forward, that is when I go for a rapid new product or new process or new service development. That is using Agile. So we are not running a marathon, we are running a sprint where we move step by step by step, minimum viable product by minimum viable product, 2 to 3 weeks. We test it, we revalidate it, we iterate it, we improve it, and we go hand in hand. So testing is done as a final phase of design thinking framework for Stanford. Alpha testing is testing by ourselves, our team members. Beta testing is testing with the cross-functional team. And gamma testing is to test with the potential customers or the set of customers after having launched a product or service. In every place we get feedback. Every place we get feed forward. Every place we get input about what can be different. So that's the cycle. Iteratively we can go for, again, after testing we can come back to empathizing. So empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping and testing, it's not sequential. It can be done by different departments, different set of team members. It can be going back and forth also, because it is not logically supposed to be in that order only. For example, if we are in prototyping and if we are not happy, we can go back to the defining priorities and value proposition, change something, come back to ideas and then start prototyping again. So if we are not in testing, finding out something right, go back to empathizing and find out, is that the real requirement? So it can be in a short sprint, it is possible for you to go back and forth. It's not about a year-long project where in the 12th month you're going back to the first month and asking what is right and what is wrong. So Stanford framework is EDIPT: empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. So this is good for every organization. Because of the words prototyping and testing, people generally feel it is good for only manufacturing industries. No, prototyping and testing can be even on paper, even on PowerPoints, even on the step-by-step approach of what you want to do, and it can be for even services organization. So services organization, product organizations, research and development organizations, process organizations, consulting organizations, any organization can use this EDIPT model. That's the Stanford model. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. And as I said, E dip T, even I remember it now. It's much easier to remember that why is it important to empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And I really like the statement, that in prototype we believe every idea can work, and in testing we know that every idea can fail. And that's why, even though this can be sequential, but it can use the agile methodologies for doing this E dip T. Thanks for explaining this design thinking framework. With this, my next question goes on. We discuss about why is it important to empathize, and why is it important to do the persona mapping for the consumers, for your customers. So, how do you think? Why do you believe that? Why is it important for this? Those empathy and this persona mapping in the context of design thinking, because although I know you have discussed this over this, but I wanted to stress more on this area. And can you share some example that how these elements enhances the whole design thinking
In fact,
process?
when you consider a business transformation or a business digital transformation or digital transformation, it is important for us to think about an enterprise or an organization or a company as a whole. Because a portfolio of offerings at the level of the top of the company is what we are having it at stake. So when portfolio of offerings are there are a number of different strategic business units. There are a number of different departments and functions. There are a number of shared services and support services and business units and people generating businesses and people generating research and development ideas and people getting into production of that and all those working together. So consider an organization or an enterprise that has multiple organizations under the umbrella of it. If they want to go for a holistic business transformation or a holistic digital transformation, because people now call it as digital transformation, it is not IT transformation. It is business transformation that involves business, people, process, IT or technology, and then also the customer transformation. Now think about it. Every organization in the world is all about our customers. The customer is the most important entity for all of us, because if we are able to produce the right products and services, if we are able to offer them the right end output and outcomes and results and return on investment, that is where what's in it for me for them is solved, because of which the revenues and profitability for me is going to be upward trend. So in the interest of my organization, in the interest of the customers and clients and stakeholders, I want better customer service, better customer relationship, better customer centricity, better customer experience, and better customer advocacy. Every one of us wants the net promoter score where the customer is referring us to some other customer and the other customer potentially calling us and then envisaging can we work together. So if every organization wants their customer to refer us to other customers, how good and innovative and transformative our products and services should be. So customer service, customer relationship, customer centricity, customer experience, and customer advocacy. If we need to have it, what else then design thinking can help? Because all of us use our brain. Design thinking is not anything new. If you and me are using our brain, design thinking is important for you and me. But people immediately ask me questions, is design thinking important for me? It's like asking me, is brain important for me for my job? If the brain is important for your job, design thinking is going to enable your job better by your brain blended with creative and critical thinking. So now think about it. Customer products and services are going to be very clearly empathized and defined and prioritized. So design thinking is good for customers. Now think about the business. Every business wants revenues. Every business wants to grow revenues, top line. every business wants to get into bottom line of profitability to be on the higher side. And if we reuse the innovations, if we get into multitudes of implementation, then we get more profitability. Now think about the business. If we have the right innovations in place for the market, we run the business very effectively and we become better in our revenues, better in our profitability. Who else will say, I don't want that? Everyone will want it. Now the business is happy if the revenues and profitability is on the higher side. Now, what is that it is supposed to have to make it happen? I want customer advocacy in one side. Customer should be happy. Customer should know what is in it for me. I want the business to have better revenues and better profitability. So design thinking empathizes and gets the visualization, storytelling, and journey mapping and empathy mapping and value chain analysis and priorities with mind map. What is that I need for the business? Now I need to make it happen with the people and process and technology. Now, in the ideation stage, when we have a strategy blueprint, we will have multiple solutions that cuts across people who are from different pockets of the organization to work together as a cross-functional team. It is not only one department is working for a whole product. Multiple teams are going to work as a cross-functional group or teams. Now think, that is also possible by co-creating and trying to make people come together. Co-creating and learning and unlearning and relearning happens with design thinking because feedback, multiple iterations. So design thinking is important for the people and process and the technology also. So as a whole, if anyone envisages to think of transformation or change at the level of an organization or enterprise at large, it is affecting the portfolio of the offerings of the organization, and it is supposed to impact the right set of products and innovation to happen across product suite and the services and processes of the entire organization, cutting across different departments and strategic business units. Design thinking paves way to start it well. That's what I said. Design thinking is not a project. Every project can apply design thinking. If any organization has a design thinking department, it's a sure shot way to fail. You can pray to your God and I'll pray to my God that it will be successful, come what may, if you think so. It is not easy. So, design thinking, I will conclude saying, it enables understanding the customer's pain points and to define the right products and services. If we define the right products and services for the business to improve revenues and profitability, that can be made to happen with people and process and technology. That technology can be artificial intelligence. That technology can be machine learning, deep learning, blockchain technologies, cloud computing, Internet of Things, and virtual reality, extended reality, so on and so forth. But it is not technology first in my viewpoint. It is about business thinking about the customers and moving from people to process to technology at the end. Because the right tools and right technologies will be at the end coming to our rescue to get better automation, better profitability, better efficiency, better throughput, better effectiveness, better outcomes, and return on investment. So, for any business transformation, design thinking is the starting point and it moves across the stages to the end point because we visualize, we get into priorities, we get into ideas with cross-functional team, we get into delivery unit for getting it done as product and services, we prototype it and we test it in agile. In all the places, thinking critically for execution, thinking creatively for envisioning something which is creatively different from what we already have, both are equally important. So that's how I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekar. And I believe, and that is why, especially the points that you stressed upon, that why persona mapping, why understanding your customers are important, advocating for the customer, because as we know that these things helps us, and as you were very rightly said, that design thinking enables us to improve on our products and services. And this is a continuous process, I believe, to understand your customer's pain point. And as you were saying that, it has to be agile way. It's not that, okay, once done, done, then okay, I am done with this process. So it's a continuous part of the process, and that's how it should be taken by the organizations as well. Now
It
with this,
continues, it continues, it is iterative, it is sequential, and it is going to be never ending. It's not going to be stopping. It's not a project that has a start and end date. It's a program that has a never ending way to improve. Go ahead, please. Any
sure.
questions?
Thank no. So it's like the last question that I have with this, because I believe we talked and we touched base upon all the important phases, the framework, how what is the sequence, what is about the design part, what is about empathizing part of the customers, persona mapping of the customers. Now let's talk about something, when we know that there is a growing emphasis, like as I was starting the conversation, that people want to have this digital transformation. How can how can businesses effectively implement design thinking principles to drive the innovation and adapt in this evolving technological landscape? Can you provide, with some examples that you have seen, and so that people understand it with how the organizations have done, or how they have utilized this design thinking principles into that, especially from the digital transformation perspective?
So, organizations usually try to go for a digital leadership workshop first, a digital leadership workshop, and then digital mindset workshop, and then digital agility workshop, and then digital transformation strategies, and then trying to think about having initiatives and interventions defined that's going to be for action. Now, why is it needed for digital leadership? Predominantly, I find many organizations, the misconception is digital transformation is IT transformation. So digital transformation is not information technology transformation. It is only one part of the five parts. It's business transformation, people transformation. It is a process to technology, and technology getting impacted with the right products and services. So first and foremost, in any digital transformation enterprise level initiative, it is important to have a digital transformation program management office. It is not supposed to be only with an accountability of the IT person. It will be taxing the IT person too much. If we are giving to the CTO the accountability for digital transformation, it will be taxing him or her on the higher side. He or she should have equal participation from business and cross-functional teams. So, design thinking promotes where all these stakeholders from whom we have to get the right definition of priorities for the business transformation. Because business transformation is the key which will be enabled with the right IT transformation with artificial intelligence and technologies, so that it is important for us to think about transformation to be done in a way where multitude of different things that we will consider together. So if we want to listen and empathize and analyze and probe to move forward, leap forward, we need to use design thinking as a framework that can enable different departments to come up with their business imperatives, their business pain points, their business needs and priorities and requirements that needs technology intervention to make them become much more productive than what they are now. It is not simply going to an IT guy and asking, hey, can you give me something for my department? The IT guy may not be knowing what is that my department would need. So design thinking enables the empathizing and defining priorities for each and every department. If that is done well, then only IT department can get into ideation, correct or not? IT department will not be just implementing technology just because they know technology. They are very good wizards and wizards in technology, but they are not the business people who knows what is the pain point. If my pain point is about having a chatbot, if my pain point is to have a digital marketing, if my pain point is about documenting records and enterprise content management, if I need multiple different things, if I don't spell it out, it is not possible for an IT person to actually give me technology support. So digital transformation is enabled by design thinking in such a way. Design thinking makes every department to find out the top 3 to 5 business needs and pain points and the problems which they have at present, which stops them to not get more productive, more output oriented and outcome oriented, and then go for technology interventions that can help them achieve those, and to also help the right process and governance and frameworks to be put on for quality assurance, quality control, and research and risk management, and so on. And hence, any digital transformation effort across different departments, design thinking is used for empathizing and defining priorities, and then getting the IT team to get to have ideas coming from IT plus the stakeholders representing all the departments, and then defining the delivery team that can deliver the IT solutions, and have co-creation of testing and prototyping with people representing from the sample set of different cross-functional teams. Because if you're the department person who is asking me a solution, if I do not have you or your representative testing my solution, and if it is not tested for right outputs, and if I claim that from technology that it is the right output, it is not going to be the right thing. So verifying, validating, sanitizing, and getting it approved is to be done with the cross-functional teams. So design thinking is interweaving in all these things, right from visualization, storytelling, empathy mapping, and value chain analysis, trying to get into mind maps, trying to get into brain writing, brainstorming, trying to get into solutioning, and trying to get into risk management and assumptions and potential point of failures, multiple minimum viable products, then co-creation of solutions, and learning and unlearning and relearning to test it and iterate and move forward. So any big transformation, the base design thinking approaches will enable every individual to a team or a project or a purpose or a program or a portfolio to be defined. So in that way, digital transformation or any other change management or organizational level transformation, that will be the best way to go. So digital transformation is enabled by design thinking. Design thinking enables digital leadership, and digital leadership will enable digital mindset for the organization. Digital mindset for the organization is about business, people, process, technology, and customer. And then digital agility is to adopt agile business transformation. And then digital transformation interventions will be named, and then they will go for execution. So design thinking is the base foundation for all these things. Over to you, Mira.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. I believe the way you have started, like we are now nearing the end of our conversation, that you started with the left brain and right brain, and then creative part and the objective part. Then we understood about the design, about discovery, evolve, strategy, innovation, growing, and nurturing. Then we understood about the framework of the EDIPT, which I have just remembered it now. I don't think I'm going to forget this. Then about empathizing with your customers, understanding your customers, why is it important to understand the person, to do the persona mapping, and then about the digital transformation, how it leads to leadership, and then to the people, business processes, and improving, and how design thinking enables the whole stuff into this. So I believe today our audience have must have learned a lot onto the design thinking. For me personally, it was one of the great session to learn about the concept and the framework and how it helps the organization. And I believe if any organization or individual looking to learn more onto this can always connect with us, and we have given our connect into the chat. Plus they can always write to us onto the chat at info@socialway.co.in, or connect with us on the LinkedIn. So thank you for bringing your expert view. With this, I would like to end the session. Thank you
Any
again, Mr.
questions from the
Chandrasekhar, for
audience?
being
Neelam?
here.
Any questions from
No, we
any?
do not. We do have the audiences connected, but we don't have the questions from this. I believe we have covered most of the things that audiences wanted to
Okay.
ask, or we
Okay.
have some of the questions that has come from the audience or come from the
Great.
connects. So we have
Great.
already covered it as a part of our questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Neelam. And it has been a wonderful hosting from your side. And I'm sure in the given short 1 hour, we have covered a lot of topics that could come under design thinking umbrella. And I can bet within an hour, these many different things touched upon itself is a very, very huge task, and which we have accomplished because of your great questioning techniques which you use to cover almost everything of design thinking. So thank you very much, Neelam, and thank you very much for all the audience who are around to watch this. And it's going to be live now, but it's also going to be available for you, which Neelam will enable it to happen. So looking forward for people watching it and then coming back to us to look for working together, collaborating. Thank you, Neelam, for all the efforts, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar, and thank you to all our viewers who have been watching us. Thank you again. We will come back with another expert series soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelam.